Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtham Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namini Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, 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 Hare Hare. Welcome everyone. Welcome. And sorry for disappointing you all. I am just trying to serve in a service because His Grace Adi Gadadhar Prabhu can't make it today. He is in Vrindavan doing parikrama and praying for all of us. Yeah. So we will do our duty like the two fingers in Damodar Leela. We will do our duty of studying Bhagavatam, and he's doing his duty of showering mercy through parikrama of Vrindavan. So he and I are tag teaming today as service. So let's begin. So we'll start chanting the important verses. Uddama bhava pishunam alaval guhasa Vridavaloka nihato madano piyasam Sammuhya chapamajahat pramadottamasta Yasyendriyam vimatitum kuhakaina sekuhu. Although the queen's beautiful smiles and furtive glances were all spotless and exciting, and although they could conquer Cupid himself by making him give up his bow in frustration, and although even the tolerant Shiva could fall victim to them, still despite all their magical feats and attraction, they could not agitate the senses of the Supreme Lord. So we take shelter of such beautiful, wonderful Krishna, then we can also overcome. Bhavadvida bhagavatas tirtha bhuta swayam vibho tirthi kurvanti tirthani swantastena gadabhrita. My Lord, the devotees like your good self are verily holy places personified. Because you carry the personality of Godhead within your heart, you turn all places into places of pilgrimage. Tulayamalavenapi naswargam na punarbhavam bhagavat sangi sangasya martyanam kimutashishaha. So we read the translation and the words and translation, or only the verses, Prabhuji?
Both verses and the translation.
The value of a moment's association with the devotee of the Lord cannot even be compared to the attainment of heavenly planets or liberation from matter. What to speak of worldly benedictions in the form of material prosperity, which are for those who are meant for death. Tiraskrita vipralabdha shapta kshipta hata api nasya tat prati kurvanti tad bhakta prabhavopihi. The devotees of the Lord are so forbearing that even though they are defamed, cheated, cursed, disturbed, neglected, or even killed, they are never inclined to avenge themselves. Quite a lofty verse, right? The expectation is pretty high. Punascha bhuyad bhagavatyanante rati prasangascha tada ashrayeshu mahatsu yamyam upayami srishthim maitryastu sarvatra namo dvijebhyah. Again, offering obeisances unto all you Brahmanas, I pray that if I should again take my birth in the material world, I will have complete attachment to the unlimited Lord Krishna, association with his devotees, and friendly relations with all living beings. Such a beautiful verse.
Yeah, Prabhuji, these are the important verses for our second module. Now we'll take the text 5 of 10th chapter,
Sure.
first canto.
Sure. So first canto, chapter 10, text 5.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtikhi Krishna Swadhamopagate Dharma Jnanadivi Saha Kalau Nashtatrishame Tat Puranarkadunoditaha Grantraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Ki Jai. So for those who just joined in, please forgive me for the change. His Grace Adi Gadadhar Prabhu is in Vrindavan, and I am simply trying to serve because he told me to serve. He told me to speak in his absence. So if there are any mistakes, please, all the Vaishnavas, all of you are Vidvat Janas. All of you are performing very great austerity of studying and prioritizing the study of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, and you are undergoing the Bhakti Vaibhava course. I myself don't have Bhakti Vaibhava. I am not certified. I don't have a Bhakti Vaibhava, and I am not qualified in any way to be a teacher for this course. So all of you are way more advanced and way more qualified. If I make any mistakes, please forgive me. Please take only the essence that I am trying to serve to some sincerity in the absence of the actual teacher. I am simply a stepney, in the vehicle when the when the tire goes punctured, then you pick some replacement. So
The
I'm just
ones
trying
who
to
like the sweet, they like Rasgulla or Gulab Jamun both. Although Rasgulla and Gulab Jamun may be a personal preference, but ones who like the sweets, both are good. So for us, everything is,
on
pure
the day
nectar.
of Ekadashi, it's not good to give such examples. Okay, let's begin. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 10, the departure of Lord Krishna for Dwaraka, text 5. Nadya samudra giraya savanaspati virudaha phalanti oshadaya sarva kamam anurutu tasya vai. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. The rivers, oceans, hills, mountains, forests, creepers, and active drugs, vanaspati and aushadhi, in every season paid their tax quota to the king in profusion. We will come to the purport and we will read the purport after some time. We will just meditate on the words in this verse. First of all, Nadyaha. Nadyaha is the plural usage of the root word nadi in Sanskrit. Nadi, nadyau, nadyaha. Nadyaha means the plural usage of the word nadi. Similarly, the word samudra, the root word is samudraha, the plural usage for the word samudraha, which means ocean. So nadi means river, and nadyaha means rivers in the plural usage. Samudra means ocean, and samudraha means oceans in the plural usage. Girayaha. Now the word girayaha comes from the root word giri. Giri means mountain. Just like we know the word giriraj, king among mountains, giri. So when you use the word giri in plural usage, it becomes girihi, giri, girayaha. So the word girayaha means plural usage of the word giri, mountains or hills. Vanaspati. Vanaspati refers to vegetables, that which have taste. And the prefix sa has been added, which means along with. Just like we see Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Pada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam. The word is Agraja. Rupa Goswami and his older brother. Agra means before and Ja means Janma. So Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha. I bow down to Shri Guru, I bow down to the Vaishnavas. And then Shri Rupam, I bow down to Rupa Goswami. And Sa Agraja, Agraja, and his older brother, Sanatan Goswami. And the prefix Sa has been added, which means along with. So Rupa Goswami, and along with him, Sagrajatam. Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sa Jivam. Tam Sa Jivam. Along with him, Jiva Goswami. Then again, Sa has been used. Sadvaitam. The word is Advaita Acharya. So it could have been Advaitam, but along with all of them, I bow down to Advaita Acharya. So the prefix Sa has been added. So Sadvaitam. Then the word should be Avadutam, which means Nityananda Prabhu. Again, the prefix Sa has been added. Sadvaitam, Sa Avadutam, Savadutam. You see? Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam. So in this way, the Sa has been used. Shri Radha Krishna Padam, Sahagana Leta, Shri Vishakhanvitam. So we can see profuse usage of the prefix Sa, which means along with. Saha. So here, Nadyaha, the rivers, Samudraha, the oceans, Girayaha, hills and mountains, Vanaspati, Prabhupada translates as vegetables, Virudaha, creepers or lata, all of them, the prefix Sa means cha, and. So the rivers and the oceans and the mountains, hills and the vegetables, the tasty creepers, the tasty sources of juice, and also the creepers. Phalanti oshadayaha sarvaha. So aushadhi, the medicinal herbs, all of them phalanti. Phalanti means they all give phala. Phala means fruit. So during Maharaj Yudhishthir's time, Tasya, here Tasya refers to Yudhishthir Maharaj. Yudhishthirasya. During his time, according to his desire, kamam, as Yudhishthir Maharaj desired, according to that, anu ritu comes together, the syllables come together and it becomes anvritu. It is actually anu ritu. Anu means according to, favorably, and ritu means seasonal. So just like we see in this world, trees give fruits according to their season. But the trees were not giving fruits according to the season. They were giving fruits according to the season of Yudhishthir Maharaj's desire. Depending on how Yudhishthir Maharaj wanted, kamam anuritu tasya vai. Vai means indeed, without any doubt. All the rivers, so the word sarvaha in the third line goes with all of them. All the rivers, sarva means all. So all the rivers, all the oceans, all the hills, all the medicinal herbs, all the creepers, all the vegetables, all of them phalanti. They all gave their best flowers, their best fruits, their best leaves. Anuritu, according to the season of the desire of Yudhishthira Maharaj. Very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. So there are multiple implications. You see, when you take a bell and you strike the bell, you hit the bell. So one thing is the hitting sound and the other thing is dhwani. Dhwani means the implications, what come out of it. So one is to hit. Tong. There's like a reverberation echo that comes in, the harmonics that come in after that, right? So that's called as dhwani. So every verse in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is like this. There's one direct meaning. And apart from that, there are so many implications. There are so many dhwanis, so many echoes that come out. It's like throwing a stone in the pond. There's one impact, but then it also causes a lot of ripples. So every verse of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam has a direct meaning, but it also can be taken in so many different meanings and so many different implications. The ripples of the impact go on in all directions. Actually, this verse describes Vrindavan very deeply. Very deeply. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, when he was a child, he was told by his older brother to study Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's older brother was a scholar in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, extreme scholar. And he was a very deep, learned, realized Pandit. So from a grammatical perspective, linguistic perspective, devotional perspective, even as far as an orator, Chakravarti Pad's older brother was unparalleled. So when Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur was a child, his older brother told him to study Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. So Chakravarti Pad studied Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, and then he was given 12 months time to study 12 cantos, one canto a month. And he studied and came back to his older brother. And he was hardly about 13 or 14 years old at that point. So his older brother asked him, so give me a one-line conclusion of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said, oh, I don't know. I just read it because you told me, but I don't know. If you tell me to summarize, I don't know. His older brother said, Jao, study again. Another 1-year project. Take 12 months to study 12 cantos, come back and tell me what the essence is. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur went to study Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, another 12 months. Studied 12 cantos and came back to his older brother. His older brother asked him, now you tell me the conclusion. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said, the essence of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is to run to Vrindavan, serve Radha Krishna and never return. And his older brother said, wonderful, this is the essence of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Therefore, with this as our goal, attaining the realm of Radha Krishna's lotus feet in Vrindavan as our goal, according to the realization of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, every verse of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam gives us a hint towards Vrindavan. So let us see this verse from that perspective. The rivers, the oceans, the hills, mountains, forests, creepers, and active drugs in every season paid their tax quota to the king in profusion. The king here is Sri Krishna, Brajendrananda and Shyamsundar. Although in the flow of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, the king, the direct meaning, the direct hitting meaning is Maharaj Yudhishthir. But we are talking about the dhwani, the ripples that are coming out of this verse. The king here is Krishna. Neelambara dharo Radha Pitambara dharo Hari Jivane Nidhane Nityam Radha Krishna Gatir Mama. Vrindavaneshwari Radha. Krishna Vrindavaneshwara. Krishna is Vrindavanasya Ishwara. He is the king. Therefore, in a very famous song, Krishna is called as Vrajaraja Suta, the son, Suta of the king of Braja. So Krishna is the future king of Braja. So whenever you hear the word king and whenever you hear the word queen, the heart naturally should run to the king and queen of the queendom called Vrindavan. There's no kingdom, there's queendom called Vrindavan. And the king is Krishna and the queen is Srimati Radharani. One time a chess champion, he came to meet His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. And this chess champion had read the Journey Home book. So at the end of a program at the Radha Gopinath temple, where he also came as a guest, he wanted to meet Maharaj. So he folded his palms, and he was a traditional Indian. He folded his palms and he told Maharaj that I have read your Journey Home book and I am very inspired by your journey. So I just thought of asking you a question. So Maharaj said, go for it. And this chess champion asked the question. And these are his words. He said, Maharaj, you are a white man from America. What attracted you to Krishna? What attracted you to Krishna? Now Maharaj immediately, pat came the reply. He looked at this chess champion and he said, this white man was checkmate by the black king of Vrindavan. This white guy was checkmate by the black king of Vrindavan. So in the language of chess, there's a white king, there's a black king, and there's checkmate, right? So in this way, when you hear the word king, naturally our heart should go to Brajaraja Suta, Sri Krishna. So in Vrindavan, the rivers, the queen of all rivers, Jamuna. Of course, there's Manasi Ganga, and there are so many sarovars. There are so many beautiful ponds. In Vrindavan, you have many levels. The smallest is called Pukur. Pukur is the smallest. It's like a small pond. Gwal Pukur, Pili Pukur. So, of course, with time, the Pukur becomes Pokhar. So then you say Gwal Pokhar, Pili Pokhar. But the root word is Pukur. It's a small pond. Then little bigger than that is called Kund, like Radha Kund, Sham Kund, Indra Kund, Airavat Kund, Surabhi Kund, Gupta Kund, Brinda Kund, Naval Kund, Apsara Kund, Sankarshan Kund, so many kunds. Then little bigger than that is called Sarovar, like Radha Sarovar, Prem Sarovar, Pavan Sarovar, Kusum Sarovar, Man Sarovar. So many Sarovars. And then bigger than that is Nadi, rivers, like Manasi Ganga and Jamuna, etc. So here the river bodies, all of them put together, they give a lot of pleasure to Krishna, the king of Braja, in all seasons. Whether in Vrindavan, actually there are 6 seasons. Outside Vrindavan, we see that generally we say summer, winter, and monsoon. But Vrindavan has 6 seasons, according to Rupa Goswami and Kavi Karnapur. You have the summer season, and then after the summer season, okay, let's start with the first one. Let's start with the spring season, which is called Vasanta Ritu. Vasanta Ritu. And it's described that of all the seasons in Vrindavan, the spring season is the best. Spring season is the best. That's where the Haryali Teach comes in, where the whole of Vrindavan becomes green, filled with the beautiful, wonderful green complexion of Brinda Devi, who is the goddess of Braja. So the first season is called Vasanta Ritu, or spring season. After that, you have Grishma Ritu, which is summer. After that, you have the Varsha Ritu, which is rain. And then after that, you have what is called as the Sharad Ritu, which is the autumn season. And after autumn season, you have Hemant Ritu and Shishir Ritu, which is the pre-winter and the actual winter. So each season gets 2 months, and 6 such seasons have 2 months each, and that is 12 seasons, 12 months of Braja with 6 seasons. So in every season, there's a speciality in Braja. But when Krishna plays the flute, and when Srimati Radharani wants the pastimes, according to the desire, Kamam, look at this verse, Kamam Anuritu Tasya Vai, depending on the desire of Radha and Krishna's heart, all the seasons come together. In the Vidagdh Madhav Natak, Srila Rupa Goswami Pad writes, when Krishna plays the flute, Brinda Devi presses all the buttons of all the seasons, and all the seasons start coming at the same time, depending on Krishna's desire. Actually, Sri Vrindavan Dham is the heart of Srimati Radharani. Panchakosha Vistirnam Dhamam Charitayam Mama. It has been described in the Puranas. This Vrindavan Dham is the heart of Radha and Krishna. So anyone who enters Vrindavan, they have actually entered the heart of Radha and Krishna. All these seasons manifest in the body of Radharani. Like, for example, when she is in separation from Krishna, Radharani's heart is in summer season. There's heat of summer in the heart of Radharani in separation from Krishna, because there's boiling heat. There's Grishma Ritu. Yeah. So when there is separation from Krishna, Radharani is feeling heat in the heart. There's so much heat of summer season in the heart. Yet at the same time, when she remembers Krishna, her tears have monsoon season. There's rain coming in the form of her tears. And when she remembers Krishna so dearly, her body goes through winter season, because the hair stands on end and the teeth are chattering and the voice is choking. And these are symptoms seen in the winter season. And similarly, when she meets Krishna and she sees Shyam Sundar, her body goes through spring season, because just like the fallen leaves of the fall season, they come back to life and all the buds become green, lush green leaves. Similarly, all the emotions of Radharani which had fallen in separation, they all spring up and the whole body of Srimati Radharani becomes colorful with emotions. Alas, alas, when she sees that it was only a hallucination and it's actually not Krishna, there's fall season where she herself falls to the ground in separation. So the seasons of Braja, they're actually the movement of the emotions of Radharani's heart. And this is why, dear devotees, we can see when Radharani is in separation from Krishna, her heart is going through summer season, so much heat, and she's crying. She's crying to cool her heart. Just like in this world, we see when there's a forest fire, no amount of tap water or pipe water can pacify the forest fire. Only the rain coming from the cloud can pacify. So when Radharani's heart is going through the forest fire of separation from Krishna, only the clouds of her eyes with the rain of her tears can pacify. So she's crying so much so that tears can fall on her heart and blow off the fire of separation. This is why in our Vrindavan Dham, we see there's hot summer season. And after that, there is rainy season. Because the heat of Radharani's separation is pacified by the monsoon season of Radharani's tears. So the seasonal changes of Vrindavan are actually the emotions of Radharani's heart. Sripad Ayendra Prabhu would say, because Radharani and the gopis are crying in separation from Krishna, this is why we see even the water running down the tap of Vrindavan is salty. It's hard water. Because when you drink that water, we should remember that, oh, this is salty because it is mixed with the tears of the Braja gopis. So coming back to the verse, just like there are seasonal fruits and seasonal flowers, and when Krishna comes in, all the seasons mix together to give pleasure to Krishna's heart. Similarly, here we can see in Vrindavan, dear devotees, the river headed by Jamuna, hills and mountains headed by Govardhan, and Dangad, Mangad, Bhangad, Vilasgad, Brahma Parvat, Vishnu Parvat, so many hills are there in Vrindavan and Barsana, and Nandishwar Parvat in Nandagram. All the rivers headed by Jamuna, all the hills and mountains headed by Govardhan, and all the forests. I'm going through the words in the verse. I hope everyone's able to see what's happening in connection to the verse of the Bhagavatam. Forests, there are 12 forests, Dvadasha Kanana. Kanana means forest and Dvadasha means 12. But of all the forests, Vrindavan is the king. So all the forests headed by Vrindavan, all the hills headed by Govardhan, all the rivers headed by Jamuna, and the creepers. Now in Vrindavan, creepers are called Lata, and the trees are called Vriksha. Dear devotees, please give your heart to this example that our acharyas give. The creeper is a female, Lata, and the tree is a male, Vriksha. And you can see the creeper clings around the tree for its growth. During the spring season, the whole atmosphere in Vrindavan is transcendently filled with conjugal mood of Madhurya Prem. where the creepers in the feminine form are wrapping around the male trees, which are male husbands of the female creepers. Similarly, you can see the flowers which have honey in the central wall are attracting the honeybees, which are drinking the nectar from the central part of the flower. Similarly, you can see birds are also flying in pairs. Alas, alas, during the spring season, all of this reminds Radha and Krishna only of each other. How wonderful. How wonderful that the creeper, Lata, actually clings onto the tree and reminds Radharani of Krishna. Therefore, you can see in Braja, many places you have the Kadamba tree, which represents Radharani, and the Tamal tree, which represents Krishna, and it's wrapped around. Some Gaudiya Vaishnavas even say the Tamal of Krishna and the Kadamba of Radha, they come together and they become the jackfruit tree of Navadvip. It's called Kathal. Kathal means jackfruit. So the Kadamba called Radha and the Tamal called Krishna in Braja, they come together and they become the jackfruit tree because a lot of jackfruit trees are found in Navadvip. So in this way, all the rivers headed by Jamuna, the hills and mountains headed by Giriraj, forests headed by Vrindavan, and the creepers, the Lata, the Aushadhi, all of them are so special that whatever nectar that they can pour out in every season, they pay all that tax quota to the king called Krishna in profusion, offering their heart. So this verse, although it describes Maharaj Yudhishthir and how his kingdom treated him, the natural surrounding in his kingdom treated him, the speaker of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, please note, is Shukadeva Goswami. So he's hiding and speaking about Vrindavan, starting from the first. And of course, here it is Suta Goswami who heard it from Shukadeva Goswami. So we can see the glories of Vrindavan is sung throughout in hidden forms. And these descriptions of the forests and the creepers of Braja are so great that even Uddhava, when he was given a chance to ask for a boon, he said, Asama ho charana renu jushama hamsyam Vrindavane kimapi gulmalata ushadhina. May I become a creeper in Vrindavan. So the creepers, the trees are special. Vrikshaha satpurushaha iva. Mahaprabhu has a special liking towards trees. This is undoubted. Chayam anyasya kurvanti, tishtanti swayam atape, phalani cha pararthaya vrikshaha satpurushaha iva. This is a very known, very famous saying that the trees are certainly very great saints because they give their shade to others, and also those who stand under, they also give them fruits. Even if the person standing under that shade was going to eat the fruit and gain energy and only cut down the tree, still the tree, without any selfish desire, gives the fruit, gives the shade, gives the wood, gives everything, the fruits, the flowers to others. And that's just any tree. Think about the trees in Vrindavan. They take Akhand Prajvas. They are born in Vrindavan, they live in Vrindavan, and they die in Vrindavan. No other species in Vrindavan has this fortune, because if you are a bird, it's possible you may fly outside Vrindavan. You may be born in Vrindavan, but you may die outside. If you're insects, it's possible you may get into somebody's car and they may be driving to Gurgaon, or they may be going to Delhi, or they may be going to Ghaziabad or somewhere. And you can see that that small insect who appeared in Vrindavan may die, let's say, 200 kilometers away. But trees can't do that. They are born in Vrindavan. They live in Vrindavan. And even if you cut them, they die in Vrindavan. They don't move a step. Vrindavanam parityajya padam ekam nagachati. They don't take a step outside Vrindavan. And they stand through all the seasons of Vrindavan. Whether it's raining, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, they stand. One time when I was in Barsanadham, there was a saying that was there on the wall. In vrikshon ko hani na pahunchaye, ye rishi rupi hai. Don't cause any harm to the trees because they are rishis from past life who are doing bhajan in the form of trees in Braja. So in this verse, this is the implication. The direct hitting of the bell is the meaning that Yudhishthir Maharaj was so saintly that what to speak of citizens giving tax, even nature around gave tax. Even the rivers had profuse water. Even the oceans gave sweet water. Even the hills and mountains gave a lot of jewels. And all the creepers and medicinal herbs were profusely manifesting themselves during Yudhishthir Maharaj's time, because he was such a great devotee. Not just the citizens, even Mother Nature was giving
profuse offerings in the form of tax. And that's the direct meaning. And the implication, the echo, the dhwani, the ripples of this words takes one to Vrindavan. Somebody may say, hey, Amarendra Das, what you're doing is wrong. The meaning here is Yudhishthir Maharaj. Why you're taking meaning out of context and taking everyone to Vrindavan? Somebody may say like that. Is there a praman? Is there a praman for this? Oh yes. The praman is Sthavara Jangama Dekhena, Dekhe Tara Murti, Sarvatra Hoy Nija Ishta Deva Spurti, Sarva Bhuteshu Yapaschet, Bhagavan Bhavamatmanaha, Bhutani, Bhagavati Atmani, Esha Bhagavatottama, Yomam Pashyati Sarvatra, Sarvam Chamai Pashyati, Tasyaham na Pranashyami, Sachamena Pranashyati. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he walked through any forest, he was frothing and foaming from the mouth, remembering Vrindavan. Now the question could be, is that Vrindavan? Yes and no. No, because geographically that's not Vrindavan. Yes, because Mahaprabhu saw it. According Yadrishi Bhavana Yasya Siddhir Bhavati Tadrishi. Depending on the netra, depending on the bhav, we will get success. Any rock that Mahaprabhu saw, he would cry embracing it, remembering Govardhan. He saw Chachak Parvat in Jagannath Puri. And he ran, saying, Hantaya Madri Rabala Haridasa Varyo, Yadrama Krishna Charana Sparsha Pramodaha, Manum Kanoti Sahago Ganayosta Yoryat, Pani Yasuya Vasakandara Kandamule. Hey Giriraj, I am coming. Devotees were thinking, this is Chachak Parvat in Jagannath Puri. Giriraj is in Vrindavan. Mahaprabhu saw any water body and jumped, saying that this is Jamuna. And we are followers of Shachinandan Gaurahari. So every verse, every hint in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, every time we hear the word Vana, it is Vrindavan. And our Prabhupada used to do this. Like, for example, when in the 7th canto Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Prahlad Maharaj is asked by Hiranyakashipu, what's the best thing that you have learned? Prahlad Maharaj says, Tat sadhu manye suravarya dehinam, sada samudvigna dhyam asadgrahad, hitvatma pakam grihamandha kupam, vanam gato yad harimashrayeta. Prahlad Maharaj says, the best thing that I have learned, O Father, is that the root of all problems is considering this body to be the self. Therefore, the solution is you give up your position as the king and go into the forest and worship Hari. Prabhupada writes, Vana here means Vrindavana. Now you please tell me. Prahlad Maharaj is not a Brajbasi. So when he says Vana, he doesn't mean Vrindavana. But Srila Prabhupada is a Brajbasi from Radha Damodar. So although Prahlad Maharaj may not even know Vrindavan, because he is completely dipped in Shantaras or Dasyaras, worshipping Narayana, Nashingadev in Vaikuntha. Because Prabhupada comes from Seva Kunj, he's seeing Vana as Vrindavan. Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada and all our acharyas have taught us that any tree that you see, remember the Kalpavriksha trees of Braja. Any stone that you see, pray to Giriraj Govardhan. Any water body that you see, remember Jamuna. In fact, not just water body as Jamuna. Jamuna we know is river. Mahaprabhu saw ocean with tides and jumped into it in Jagannath Puri saying this is Jamuna. Now please tell me, Nimai Pandit doesn't know the difference between Pukur and Kund and Sarovar and Nadi and Mahasagar? He can beat down Keshav Kashmiri and Prakashananda Saraswati and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So according to knowledge, he knows, but the heart takes over. And the eyes are filled with Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochana. So we have to make this effort, dear devotees. This verse is teaching us. The direct meaning is Yudhishthir Maharaj. The direct meaning is the nature in Yudhishthir Maharaj's province was opening up its treasure to him because he was a pure devotee. But the implication as a Gaudiya Vaishnava is here the king represents Shyamsundar. And his kingdom is Vrindavan. And everything in Vrindavan is only moving according to Krishna's desire. Did everybody understand? So this should pacify our heart that in a Bhakti Vaibhava course, why is he speaking Vrindavan Mahimamrit? It's not 10th canto, it's 1st canto. There's no zero. It's not 1 with a 0. It's only the 1st canto. So we should note that we are here not just to study for the course, but we are here to drown in the nectar of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. That is the purpose of Bhakti Vaibhava. It's not simply to know the external meaning and finish the course and get a certificate. It is to not go through the course, it's to grow through the course. That's the purpose, to open up like a flower. Chalo. Now in the purport, Srila Prabhupada makes one take-home point, which Srila Prabhupada profusely explains in the purport. And we can see this straight in the 1, 2, 3, 4, the fourth and the fifth line. In fact, it's given in italics. The secret to success is to take refuge under the protection of the Supreme Lord. The secret to success is to take refuge under the protection of the Supreme Lord. Srila Prabhupada explains here that those who take shelter of Krishna, like Yudhishthira Maharaj did, everything becomes favorable around. Kathanchana smrite yasmin dushkaram sukaram bhavet vismritir viparitam syat Sri Chaitanyam namamitam. Our Chaitanya Charitamrita describes, if you become anukul to Krishna, then everything becomes anukul to you, because everything belongs to Krishna. If you become pratikul to Krishna, everything belongs to Krishna, everything will go topsy-turvy. In simple words in Hindi, tu mere naam, to main tere kaam. Tu tere kaam, to main mere dham. Krishna is saying, tu mere naam. If you chant my name, main tere kaam, I am there making everything favorable for you. Or tu tere kaam, if you're busy in your work, main apne dham. Then I am in my abode, why should I help? Everything becomes favorable. Everything becomes favorable if we align to Krishna. So Yudhishthira Maharaj aligned to Krishna and everything became favorable for him. Everything became favorable. Srila Prabhupada, when he's writing this purport, he's actually writing with all his heart. Prabhupada became favorable, of course, always favorable, but in the attempt to fulfill the instruction of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Bhakti anukula matra karjera svikar, Bhakti pratikula bhava varjanangikar. Because Prabhupada felt that his family life, his business, with all of that going, he will not be able to preach. He gave it up. Mahaprabhu, on one hand, he had his mother who was old, and on the other hand, he had his wife who was young. It's a very lethal combination for material attachment. To have a young wedded wife and to have an elderly mother, anyone and everyone will be attached. But Mahaprabhu's heart was bleeding with compassion for everyone. And he felt that Tyaktva sudustyaja surepsita rajya lakshmim dharmishta arya vachasa yadagadharanyam mayam mrigam dayita yepsita manvadhavat vande mahapurushate charanarvindam. You can find this in Canto 11, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 11, chapter 5, text 34. Mahaprabhu has been described that he gave everything up for doing Jana Kalyan, for spreading the glories of Bhakti, to give everyone prema. Mahaprabhu gave up what is unfavorable. Prabhupada gave up what is unfavorable. So if a devotee gives up what is unfavorable and accepts what is favorable to express Sharanagati to Krishna, then Krishna makes the red carpet entry into the spiritual world. Krishna makes all arrangements. Please tell me, now in the present generation, a person like me, I am 30 years old. Prabhupada, when he came to America, he was 70 years old. In 1966, 1965, 66, Prabhupada was 69, 70 years old. I am 40 years younger than Prabhupada, okay, and 50 years later, as far as time scale is concerned. I have internet, I have all the devices, I have devotees around, I have temples, I have books, I have gadgets, I don't have money, but I kind of have access to some things. We have so many things around us, and also youth, manpower. Tell me what Prabhupada did. Can all of us put together on the Zoom call with all our technology, with all our planning, with all our strategies, can we come up with 108 temples that are sustainable, not just as an upstart? If we think what Prabhupada did was ordinary, let's challenge ourselves, not individually, collectively. Let all of us put hands together on the Zoom call and try what Prabhupada did. In 10 years, opening up 108 temples, which sustain to such an extent. Catch people who don't come from that culture, who are into meat eating, intoxication, gambling, and illicit sex, and make this movement so sustainable that they can take sannyas and hold it for 50 years and give shelter to the whole world. We can do it. Absolutely, we can't. Why? Shadanga Sharanagati hoibe jahar, tahara prarthana sune Shri Nanda Kumar. To the extent we are surrendered, to that extent we get empowered. Prabhupada gives here, the secret to success is to take refuge under the protection of the Supreme Lord. Avashya rakshibe Krishna Vishwasa Palan. Dainya Atma Nivedana Goptritve Varan. Avashya rakshibe Krishna Vishwasa Palan. To be humble, to be meek, to be crying and weeping for shelter, like Prabhupada did, mopping the floor of Radha Damodar. Ha Rupa, Ha Sanatan, please help me. Please help me fulfill the instruction of my Guru Maharaj. If anybody takes shelter following the footsteps of Prabhupada, they become empowered. We have to empty ourselves. We have to empty ourselves. Of course, we have to work hard to the best of our ability, but according to the Bhagavad Gita, we have to understand, without Krishna's sanction, it is not possible. Ultimately, we have to surrender. We may have knowledge, we may be hardworking, we may have the expert tools and the equipment, and we may have the right karma and the place and time. But if the super soul doesn't give a sanction, it's not going to happen. So surrender means to understand, to keep our sir under Krishna's feet. Sir under. Surrender. To keep our sir under Krishna's feet. To understand that I can do only so much, Krishna. If you so desire, may it happen. When Srila Jayapataka Maharaj was physically going through the phase of critical medical condition, devotees were saying, Maharaj, what should we pray to Krishna? Maharaj said, pray to Krishna, if you may so desire, keep Maharaj alive. If you may so desire. So we should pray like this. Manasa deho geho jokichu mor arpilo tuva pade nanda kishor. Kita janma ho yatha tuva das. Bahir mukha brahma janmi nahi as. Hey Prabhu, I am ready to become an insect, but in the house of your devotee. I don't want to become independent. Even if I get the position of Brahma, I don't want to forget you. I am ready to remember you and become an insect in the house of your devotee. Hey Prabhu, this is all that I want. I don't want anything else. Marobi rakhobi jo ichha tuhar, nitya dasa prati tuva adhikar. You want to protect me, my Lord, you protect me. You want to destroy me, you destroy me. You do whatever you want, I am yours. The take home from today's class, dear devotees, from this verse, point number 1, every verse of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam gives us a hint and insight to Vrindavan. This is first. Second, Yudhishthir Maharaj could tap into all the resources of Mother Nature because he was a pure devotee. Mother Nature was opening up when the father was pleased. The child gets inheritance only when he's obedient. In this world also. If he acts like independent nonsense, then the father is not going to give anything. So because Yudhishthir Maharaj is completely Sharanagat, everything became Anukul. One Prabhupada disciple was mentioning, wherever Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet touched Mother Earth, there was a birth of Bhakti there. Because he was completely surrendered. So Mother Nature was opening up more and more opportunities. So if we become surrendered to Krishna, we will become empowered. All the things will become favorable for us. And if we are egotistical, we are only self-centric and only mukhe bole, only on the tongue we are saying, Krishna, I am yours. Then we may be able to achieve something on the basis of our karma, but not sustainable. We will run out of fuel. My Guru Maharaj used to give this example in this regard, that if someone drives a car, they will be stuck in traffic. But if somebody is airlifted, there is no traffic. There is no traffic. So if we go on the car of our own ability, without taking shelter of Krishna, we will be stuck in the traffic of the problems of this world. But if we are airlifted by Krishna, Krishna, I am yours. Krishna se tomar, Krishna dite paro, tumara shakoti ache, ami to kangal, Krishna, Krishna boli dai tava pache pache. My Lord, please accept me. Then we will see we are airlifted and there is no traffic then. Now we are on Krishna's shoulders. Imagine a small baby. A small baby will never be able to climb on the shoulder of the father. But if he cries and shows this to his father may pick him up and keep on the shoulder. This is Sharanagati. This is Sharanagati. The child trying to climb the father's shoulder is karma yoga, trying to get Krishna through our activities. And what is bhakti? Crying and putting our hand up, my Lord, my Father, you please lift me up. And when the Father lifts one, there is elevation in consciousness. We don't have to do anything. We simply have to put our hand up and say, my Lord, I am yours. Krishna Tavasmi. Krishna Tavasmi. Krishna Tavasmi. Main aapka hu. Sakradeva prapanno yastavasmi ti sayachate abhayam sarvada tasmai dadami etad vratam mama. Ramachandra told our Vibhishan, you just say through your tongue that I am yours. I will take care of you. You see, in an airport, the grown-up children, they have to go through security. But the little baby is in the hand of the mother. So when the mother goes through security, bachche ka bhi security is done. The child doesn't have to go through separate security. So the older son is on the path of karma and gyan and dhyan. Maya tests him separately. Separate security line, Maya will test. And Bhakta is on the hand of the Supreme Lord. And the Supreme Lord doesn't go through the testing of Maya. So the Bhakta also doesn't, if he is Sharanagat. This verse teaches us, Prabhupada says, the secret to success is to take refuge under the protection of the Supreme Lord. Everything becomes favorable, dear devotees. Everything becomes favorable. Therefore, Raghunath Das Goswami also prayed, O Radharani, bhajami radham aravinda netram, smarami radham madhurasmitasyam, vadami radham karuna bharadram, tato mama anyasi gati nakapi. O Radharani, through my tongue I glorify you, through my eyes I see you, through my ears I hear you, through my mind I remember you, because apart from you I don't know anybody. Mata Ramo Mat Pita Ramachandraha, Swami Ramo Mat Sakha Ramachandraha, Sarvaswame Ramachandro Dayalu, Nanyam Jane Naiva Jane Na Jane. In the Rama Raksha Stotra, the Rama Bhaktas write, my mother is Ram, my father is Ram, my brother is Ram, my sister is Ram, my guru is Ram, my bandhu is Ram. Apart from Shri Ram, I don't know anyone, I don't want to know anyone. This is Sharanagati. This is Sharanagati. One Shri Vaishnava Acharya writes, Kshauni patitvam athava ekam akinchanatvam nityam dadasi bahumanam athapamanam vaikunthavasam athava narake nivasam ha Vasudeva mama nasti gatistvadanya. O Vasudev, O Lakshmikant, O Narayana, you have two options. You can either accept me or reject me. You can make me rich or you can make me poverty stricken. You can give me a lot of importance or you can make me criticized. You can send me to Vaikuntha or kick me down to hell. But I have only one option. To move according to your desire. I am yours. You do what you want. Who is greater, the rain cloud or the Chataka Pakshi? Who can tell me? Boliye, somebody? Who is greater, rain cloud or Chataka Pakshi? Yes, Kirtida Sundari Matsaji.
Chataka Pakshi.
Chataka Pakshi. Why?
Because rain cloud can shower the rain anywhere in the entire place, but Chataka Pakshi only looks for one raindrop. May have Ganga.
Garjasi Megana Yaksha. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no.
Sorry. Yes, Mataji, please continue.
Ganga flowing, but still will not accept water. Wait only for that rain.
Jai. So Mataji is saying between the rain cloud and the Chataka Pakshi is more glorious. Why? The rain cloud can give rain wherever he wants. And he can move wherever he wants. But the Chataka Pakshi keeps its mouth open for that one drop in Swati Nakshatra. Garjasi Meghana Yachasi Toyam Chataka Pakshi Vyakulitoham. The devotee is writing, oh my Lord, you're a rain cloud and I'm a Chataka Pakshi. Garjasi Meghana Yachasi Toyam. You are coming and making some sound in the Bhagavad Gita. You're thundering and lightning. But na yachhasi toyam, but you're not giving the water of your mercy. What is the use of this thundering in the Gita if you're not ready to give the rain of your mercy? Such a beautiful prayer. Garjasi Megha na yachhasi toyam. Hey Megh, garjan kar rahe ho. You're speaking so much in the Gita. You're doing the lightning and thundering. But what about the rain of your mercy? Chataka Pakshi Vyakulitoham. As a Chataka Pakshi, I don't need your thundering and lightning. I need your rain. So in this one verse, dear devotees, there is everything. There is Sambandha, Abhidheya and Prayojan. In this one verse of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. What is the Sambandha? Prabhupada writes, take shelter of Krishna. Krishna, I am yours. Tell Radha and Krishna, I am yours. Apart from you, I will not go anywhere. I will not look in any direction. Become one-pointed like Raghunath Das Goswami. He will not even accept what to speak of any other incarnation. He will not even accept any other rasa in Braja. And what to speak of any other rasa? Now, Raghunath Das Goswami is not going through Dashavatar and not going through any other Vishnu Murtis, and definitely not to any demigods. He is not even accepting the form of Krishna in Mathura and Dwaraka. And in Vrindavan, he is not ready to accept other rasas like Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya. And in Madhurya Rati, he's not even looking in the direction of Chandravali. What to speak of looking in the direction of Chandravali? He will not even drink buttermilk in a cup made out of the leaf coming from a branch of a tree in Sakhistali, the village of Chandravali. This is how one-pointed Raghunath Das Goswami is. Krishna Das ei Vishwas korle to ar dukha nae. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, put your hands up and say, Krishna, I am yours. Bas. Once, everybody on the call, put your hands up. And wherever you're joining in from, loudly say, close your eyes and say, Krishna, I am yours. Bas. Bas. Don't worry now. Yamadutas, nobody can catch. Even Vishnu Dutas cannot catch. Because Vishnu Dutas will say, nahi, nahi. He didn't say Narayan. He said Krishna. So the Sambandha in this verse is taking shelter of Krishna, Radha Krishna, one. The Abhideya here is to become favorable. Yudhishthira Maharaj performed bhakti and he became favorable to Krishna. One is to be Sambandha, to belong to Krishna. Second is to perform bhakti and make everything favorable. And what is the prayojan? What is the goal? To see this verse in connection to Vrindavan. That is our goal. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bo, Vancha Kalpatarubhescha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha, Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. So I will take only one verse today because the time is up. If there are any questions or comments, please ask me simple questions because I'm not part of the course. Please give me some concession. If there are any corrections or comments, we can take that as well. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you very much for this wonderful class and for taking us all to Vraj. Very, very grateful to you. Prabhuji, you mentioned that, when you perform bhakti and if we become surrendered to Krishna, then all things will become favorable to us. But in the previous chapters, we have seen that the Pandavas suffered a lot and there were many reverses in their life, which Bhishma Dev said that it's the inexplicable wish of the Lord. So practically we see that even if we are trying to surrender, things may not be favorable, and in fact they may become unfavorable also. So how should we understand this? What does favorable mean?
Very beautiful question. So the question is, does the circumstance become favorable actually? Is it true that by performing bhakti everything becomes favorable? The answer is no. Circumstance will not become favorable, but the consciousness will become very favorable. The rain will continue, but by performing bhakti, the umbrella will be on the top of our head. It will continue to rain problems, but the rain will not touch us because we will not see it as problems. We will see it as opportunities. The stones will continue to remain, but bhakti gives us the shoes that we can wear and walk over those stones and not get hurt by them. Circumstance will continue to be the same, but one will see them not as problems, but as opportunities. This is to be understood because as consciousness advances, vision changes. Like, for example, when you sit in an airplane, I try to meditate this when I sit in an airplane. Initially, when we walk on the streets, we find these buildings to be so big structures. But as soon as you sit in an airplane and you start flying in the sky, they look small like matchboxes. Is it not? Very small. So it shows us a meditation that when we go higher in our consciousness, that which really seemed big before becomes insignificant. The problems don't remain problems anymore. Why? Because our vision changes. If there is a street, there is a road which is filled with speed breakers. By performing bhakti, the speed breakers will not be removed. It's just that our shock absorbing capacity will better. If you have a bullock cart on a street or a highway, if you have a bullock cart going there, and if you have a BMW going that same street, you can see that there'll be more jerk in a bullock cart and lesser experience in a BMW. Not because there are no speed breakers, it's just because the BMW has better shock absorbing system. So as a devotee, the speed breakers will continue on the path of bhakti. But it's just that our shock absorbing spirit will better because we are sitting on the BMW, giving our body, mind, and words to Krishna. BMW Seva ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Anyone else? You see 3 hands up there. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Rajaraj Gopal Prabhu. Yes.
Dandavat Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Prabhuji, when we hear such narrations of the qualities of Radha and Krishna, at that moment we feel, what is the point of our material existence? It's not worth it. And so we build sankalpas based on the inspiration that we feel. But that sankalpa does not stay for a long time. It gets destroyed. It seems like the realization that has to enter into our heart is not entering, despite taking association of Harikatha and senior Vaishnavas. So what is the problem? What is the solution?
This is the problem. If the pot is filled with nectar and at the base it has holes, then we will not be able to catch anything. If we are eating too much, over collecting, thinking about women, the opposite sex, discussing jokes of this world, talking Gramya Katha, chasing material aspirations, so many things. If we do these things, then bhakti will take a long, long time to fructify. First, we have to empty ourselves. First, the wood of our consciousness must go dry. If it is wet, then fire will not catch. You see, if you take wood and if you drench it in water and you try to bring in some friction and set it ablaze, the wood will not catch fire. Or even if it does, it will take some time with smoke coming first. But if the wood is dry, it will catch fire like this. So bhakti fire will catch when the consciousness is dry. For that, first we have to make lifestyle changes. Bhajan must be our prominent. Our sleeping, our eating, our naam japa, the quality of our talks, how we spend our day, very important. It's not only when we are performing bhakti, it's also during the day that matters. If you read the 10 offenses to the holy name, not one out of them is committed while chanting japa. All the 10 are committed when we are not chanting japa. To blaspheme the devotees, we don't blaspheme in the middle of japa. Obey the order of the spiritual master, we don't do that in the middle of japa. To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name, we don't do that during japa. To preach to faithless person, we don't do that during japa. To maintain material attachments is not during japa. They're all lifestyle changes. It's not those 2 hours of japa that alone matter. It's the remaining 22 hours. In a cricket game, you can see the T20 game is only 3 hours. On the final of a World Cup, T20 World Cup, it's only 3 hours. But the preparation for a player to get there is 20 years of hard work. So 2 hours of japa is not all. The remaining 22 hours of preparation is what causes that 2 hours to fructify. If we are chanting for 2 hours and 22 hours we are hearing Bollywood music and discussing topics of this world, and actually this smartphone is a very big thief. Matigni, it destroys our sane intelligence. We may sit in a room and we say, I have no bad association. But this is duplicity because bad association is right there on the fingertips. So many apps are there. You can just press something and the mind goes nuts. So till the time we don't make lifestyle changes, sit down and ask yourself, where does my mind go? If you take your phone away, how restless do you feel? How much does it itch to get to the phone back? It shows our mati is going there. Then how can we be one-pointed? Vyavasayatmika buddhirekeha kuru nandana. One life. We have to have discipline. Disciple means discipline. Eating, quantity and quality, sleeping, creation, association, gadgets and persons, and lifestyle. We have to fill our ears, eyes, and mouth with Krishna consciousness. Prasadam, right quantity and quality. Holy name, chanting more number. hearing proper sound vibration and seeing proper things. Mind may revolt, but there's no other way. Torture the mind. Trouble the mind. Tell the mind, rascal, you've been troubling me for such a long time. Dushtaman, tumi kisera Vaishnav. You think you're making me feel that I'm Vaishnav? Now I will take danda and I will give you danda. 100 times, like Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur said. The mind will say no. Baith ke naam jap karo, sit and chant. Mind will say no, stand up. Then when we stand, mind will say walk. Then when we walk, mind will say look here and there. Then when we look here and there, mind will say talk to that other person who's chanting. And at the end of it all, rounds are remaining. This mind, if you listen to the mind will make us into a great fool. We don't want to be a great fool. We want to be grateful. We want to be grateful for the opportunity and take advantage. Manusha janma paiya Radha Krishna na bhajiya janiya shuniya bisha khainu Hari Hari bifale janama gawainu. Hey Hari, I have missed this opportunity. We should feel this remorse in our heart. And whatever is pratikul, give it up. Prahlad Maharaj gave up his father. Dhruva Maharaj gave up his mother. Bali Maharaj gave up his guru. Vibhishan gave up his brother. Gopis gave up their husbands. We don't have to go to that extreme, but at least we can give up habits which are taking us away from Krishna. Is that okay, Prabhu? I think Brajaraj Gopal Prabhu went into Samadhi, I think. I don't know where he is. Okay. You can take the next question. And please feel free if anybody wants to add some correction or comment. In addition, please feel free. I am not the facilitator. We're all together, reading together. Adi Gadadhar Prabhu is the facilitator. I'm just a friend. So please correct me if there is anything needed. Yes. Amrit Karan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances.
Hare Krishna.
After a long time, I am hearing from you. Went to Atlanta when His Holiness Japataka Swami Maharaj came, or Guru Maharaj. And today, actually, Adi Gadadhar Prabhu, he went to Vrindavan, but your heart is in Vrindavan. Your heart, you are holding Vrindavan. You are expressing so wonderfully about Vrindavan and presenting. And we are actually connecting everybody. We are also coming in Vrindavan with you like that. It's so wonderful, your presentation, and so ecstatic now.
You are so senior. You are so senior in experience, service, and humility and depth. And you are saying this to somebody who is inferior to you in all ways.
No, Prabhuji, I have one question.
Aner Hriday Man, Tomar Man Vrindavan, Mana Vana Eka Kori Jani. It is your heart which is in Vrindavan and you're able to see it. I wish I can also.
No, Prabhuji, it's so wonderful. Very happy to hear from you today. Actually,
your Bengali accent is very sweet.
Yeah, thank you. He is connected with this Yudhishthira Maharaj and Panchapandav. They appeared in Radhakunda as a tree. So can you please explain a little bit to us, because it's connected with this now subject matter, and you are describing about Vrindavan, so please.
Very slippery slope at 9:45 at night. I will try to keep time. Very deep subject matter. Brihad Bhagavatam describes that greater than Yudhishthira Maharaj, when Narad Muni actually went to Yudhishthira Maharaj and said, "You are the greatest recipient of Krishna's mercy," Yudhishthira Maharaj said, No, that's not true. I am the worst devotee, Yudhishthira Maharaj said. Why worst devotee? He said, because anybody who hears my story will give up bhakti. If you perform bhakti, these things will happen to you. So then he is saying, I am the most negative preacher, Yudhishthira Maharaj said. But then in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, he says, if you want to know someone better than me, higher than me, it is Uddhav. Because Uddhav is a pre-Narmasakha of Krishna. And Uddhav is saying, greater than me are the gopis. And the gopis are saying greater than us. Yatha Radha Priya Vishnu Tasya Kundam Priyam Tatha Sarva Gopeshu Saiveka Vishnu Rathyanta Vallabha. Yudhishthira Maharaj saying Uddhav. Uddhav is saying gopis, and gopis are saying the highest among us is Srimati Radharani. Yudhishthira Maharaj is thinking, I cannot approach the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. I am not qualified. But I can approach the lotus feet of Krishna and beg for the service of Srimati Radharani's lotus feet. Therefore, instead of me being on the banks of Radhakund, I will situate myself on the banks of Shamkund, which is the lotus feet of Shamsundar. And from there, being on the banks of Shamkund, I will look at Radhakund. The leg will be at Shamkund. The eyes will be at Radhakund, Yudhishthira Maharaj and Pancha Pandav. I will be at the lotus feet of Shamsundar and pray for the service of Srimati Radharani's lotus feet. So the 5 Pandavas, they reincarnate as the 5 trees on the banks of Shamkund. Now, when Srila Raghunath Das Goswami Pad, following the instruction of Mahaprabhu, Krishna Bhakti, Krishna Seva, Krishna Bhakti, Krishna Prema Seva, Pravartan, Lubdha Tirtha Uddhara Ar Vairagya Sikshan. Mahaprabhu told the 6 Goswamis that one of the services is to excavate lost places. Lupta Tirtha and Gupta Tirtha, both. Lupta Tirtha are those tirthas which have disappeared. And Gupta Tirtha are those tirthas which exist, but they're hidden. So Gupta Tirtha and Lupta Tirtha Uddhar. The 6 Goswamis had this service. So Raghunath Das Goswami, he took up the service of Radhakund, Shamkund, Uddhar, Tirtha. Mahaprabhu just discovered Goriket and Kariket, the paddy fields. And Mahaprabhu said, this is Radhika, this is Shamsundar, bas. And Mahaprabhu went ahead. Raghunath Das did experience work of digging through with the Brajbasis and making the kunda, the steps, the whole structure. His desire was to make Radhakund rectangle and Shamkund also rectangle, because Radharani and Sham Sundar are non-different. Radha Krishna eka atma dui deha dhari, anyanya vilas rase aswadana kari. Radha Krishna nitya aiche ekahi swarup, lila rasa aswadite dhari dui rup. So Radharani should also be rectangle, Sham Sundar should also be rectangle. So Radhakund was rectangle. That was fine. Now when Shamkund construction began, Raghunath Das Goswami told all the Brajbasis and they started cutting. But as they wanted to make it rectangle, at night when Raghunath Das Goswami went off to sleep, the 5 Pandavas came and said, Baba, Raghunath Baba, please don't cut us. We are on the banks of Shamkund doing bhajan as trees. If you cut us to make it rectangle, how will we do bhajan? We gave up the position of being Pandavas to become trees on the banks of Shamkund to do Braj Bhajan, to remember Radha and Shamsundar. Please give us some spot. Raghunath Das Goswami woke up and he told, what is this? The Pandavas are here and we are having Brajbasis cut through those trees? No. Instead of cutting the trees and going straight, we will go around them. We will go around in such a way that we will respect them. As a result, what happened? Radha Kund is rectangle and Sham Kund is oblong. If you see, the shape is not proper. Just like Sham Sundar. Radharani is very simple-hearted. So the Kund is also very simple-hearted. It is rectangle. And Sham Sundar, everything is Madhur and everything is Tribhangi. Raghunath, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Mahasaya has said, Tribhangam Sham, Tribhangamatham Varna Samujam. His complexion is bluish black and his form is threefold. His glancing is crooked. His form is crooked. His walking is crooked. His speaking is crooked. His pastimes are crooked. His smiling is also crooked. He is looking somewhere and smiling somewhere. And because Krishna is transcendently crooked yet straightforward, we can see Sham Kund, which is non-different, is also oblong, to accommodate the Pancha Pandavas and to show the world the greatness of their bhajan. Raghunath Das Goswami, by his blessings, even Pandavas get Radha Kund and Sham Kund. We definitely have hope. So in this way, I tried to keep time and not extend too much. So much else can be said. But maybe someday, when we all meet someday by the will of Providence on the banks of Sham Kund, maybe more can be said at that time.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Wonderful. Wonderful explanation. Thank you. The trees are disappeared now. No more.
Yes, yes. Only one tree is remaining.
Yeah, one tree. Yeah.
Shanta Radhika Mataji, I think.
Hare
One last
Krishna,
question.
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. It is not a question, just a simple comment कि हमने अभी भागवतम की ग्लोरीज पढ़ी थी पिछले मॉड्यूल में, तो उसमें हमने चैतन्य चरितामृत में पढ़ा था कि each and every verse of Bhagavatam has so many meanings. Not even verse, even a single syllabus has so many meanings. तो उस टाइम तो हमने इसको रट लिया था कि भाई हमें याद करना है, पर आज हमें इसका रियल मीनिंग समझ में आ गया. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So much, Prabhuji. You explained it so very
Hare
well.
Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranam, Hare Krishna. So, having said that, in the interest of time, oh, there's one last hand raised, the hand of blessing. Yes, Satyarupa Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji, for the wonderful class. We are in Vrajdam, Prabhu, so just wanted to give the darshan.
Yes, please. This is classic example of from sound vibration we can have Sakshat Darshan. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Jai.
Prabhuji, we just met your Swastika Mataji's parents, Prabhuji, just now. Half an hour back, we met your in-laws and we just took blessings from them, Prabhuji.
Wonderful. Today's Ekadashi day. And
Yes,
Brajvasis,
Prabhuji.
look, they're all doing Kartik. Today's Kartik Ekadashi and they're doing Parikrama. Very auspicious. Thank you. Raghunath Das Goswami Pad says we should love Vrindavan with all its residents. Gurau Goshthe Goshtha Layishu Sujane Bhusuragane Swamantre Shri Namni Vrajanava Yuvadvandva Sharane Sadadambham Hitva Kururatima Purva Matitaram Aye Swanta Bhrata Chatubiraviyache Dritapada. O mind, give your heart to Vrindavan with the lotus feet of divine couple of Radha Krishna. Give your heart to the residents of Vrindavan. Give your heart to the Brahmanas, the Vaishnavas, Sri Guru, and empty your heart of devoid of all pride. And in this way, give your heart completely to the path of Bhakti. This is the prayer. So when we see Vrindavan with all its residents, Jai Jai Sri Radhe Sham. Thank you, Satyarupa Mataji. Thank you for being so kind. Hare Krishna. So, Ajay Govinda Prabhu, any announcements?
Thank you so much. I know you have been taking classes since morning 7 o'clock today with the sessions on Putna. You had an 11 o'clock session in between. You had other commitments and you had very gracefully enlightened us this evening at 9 o'clock. You know, it's 9:50 right now. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. All the devotees, I think, are very grateful for this wonderful session, as good equally as, you know, Adhika Dada's Prabhu's session, although you have different flavors, but they're equally relishable. So thank you so much for that, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare Bol. Dandavat Pranam to each one of you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.